High drama in the palace. Now, Prince William and Princess Catherine normally stay out of trouble. They never put a foot wrong, unlike their counterparts in Montecito, California. But it seems the halo has slipped for the couple, with an animal rights group blasting the Prince and Princess of Wales for breeding a litter of puppies. Now, it's all about this photo. This image is one of the most viewed images of the year. It's Prince William's 43rd birthday portrait. And the photo was released showing him surrounded by 4 Cocker Spaniel puppies bred from the family dog Orla. Now, the photo was taken by Princess Catherine in May. Princess Catherine, a fantastic photographer, and I always think it's great if a close friend or a family member takes family portraits because they have that connection, don't they? And it's the intimacy. And it's a talent that Catherine has got. So, this was a massive, massive image, right? This image got a lot more distribution than anything that came from Harry and Meghan this year. Shared on the Kensington Palace social media. It was captioned, "Happy birthday, love C, G, C and L." Also Orla and the puppies. Of course, C, G, C and L is Catherine, George, Charlotte and Louis, and then the dog Orla and her puppies, right? So you would think this is a good news story. Nothing to see here, and the palace will be very happy with how this portrait was received, except PETA have now slammed the royals over dog breeding. Now, PETA is an animal charity. It's called the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, PETA, a bit like DISCO, but this is PETA, and they're furious with the palace. And they've criticised the couple for choosing to breed rather than adopt. So PETA accused the Prince and Princess of Wales of being, wait for it, this is a killer line. They accused William and Catherine, who never put a foot wrong. They never put a foot wrong. But PETA accused them of being staggeringly out of touch. I mean, what a line, staggeringly out of touch. Are they not aware of the work of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex and their wild hypocrisy and double standards? But anyway, William and Catherine staggeringly out of touch. Words I never thought would leave my lips. And they condemned them for, and I quote, churning out a litter in the midst of this animal homelessness crisis. So PETA's Vice President of Programmes is called Elisa Allen, who issued a full statement. And let me tell you that her bite is worse than her bark, okay? She's like a pit bull terrier on this occasion rather than a fluffy poodle, all right? Elisa Allen is no poodle, right? She's an aggressive German shepherd on this occasion, and she is hunting for the Princess of Wales and the Prince of Wales. So here's the full statement. The Prince and Princess of Wales should know that shelters here and worldwide are overflowing with puppies desperate for a second chance at a loving home, and that churning out a litter in the midst of this animal homelessness crisis is staggeringly out of touch. If William is going to take the lead, she says, he might well take a lesson from King Charles and Queen Camilla, who have chosen to adopt from a shelter rather than contribute to the problem. Well, I'd like to pick a bone with Elisa Allen, who is the Vice President of Programmes at PETA. First of all, how dare you address the future King and Queen of the United Kingdom in such a dismissive and disrespectful manner? How dare you, Elisa Allen, whose bark is nearly as bad as her bite? Seriously, I'm really shocked by this because I support animal charities because animal cruelty it's the worst thing, isn't it? These defenseless creatures which only bring love, and the idea that you would harm them, neglect them, it's a tragedy. And I have, on many occasions, donated to animal charities. They're a great thing, right? No problem with that. I've got a problem with Elisa Allen's tone about the future King and Queen of the United Kingdom. 2 people in the Prince and Princess of Wales who never put a foot wrong. They never do. They are so, Catherine, she's so anodyne, she makes Queen Elizabeth II look controversial. So let's just break this statement down line by line. Because what I'm going to do with Elisa Allen, who is Vice President of Programmes, whatever that means, at PETA, DISCO. Not enough songs where people spell out the words. I like it. For a man of my age, it makes it more, I can process it more. DIVORCE. DIVORCE. We've had that conversation. A song performed by Tammy Wynette, but a lovely cover version by my hero Dolly Parton. Compare. Let me know in the comments, right? Please listen to Divorce by Dolly Parton and by Tammy. I'm taking nothing away from Tammy Wynette, a bona fide American music legend. But on this occasion, I think that Dolly's cover is better. Let me know in the comments. That sweet, sweet voice of hers. Whereas Tammy, Stand By Your Man, one of the greatest songs of the 20th century, Stand By. And I, your man. Tammy gets a mic drop for Stand By Your Man, which is one of the greatest songs of all time. But what I'm going to do with the Vice President of Programs at PETA, Elisa Allen, is I'm going to take her down, and I'm going to take her down to Chinatown because she's rude and obnoxious and probably wrong. So she says the Prince and Princess of Wales should know that shelters here and worldwide are overflowing with puppies desperate for a second chance at a loving home. They should know, they shouldn't anything, Elisa Allen, whose bark is not as bad as her bite. I'm having real trouble rearranging the words of that famous phrase. The brain is we've got a slow hard drive here. This brain is like an early Mac computer. Do you know what I mean? It's a Steve Jobs era brain I've got, sadly. A lot of you watching are in the Tim Cook era. This is like a 1970s IBM. All right? So please give me a chance. Be patient, because I've got some royal truth bombs for you. I mean, this is massive. This is a special deep dive into the royals and their animals. And there's some very, very nasty, controversial points that are coming. By the way, plus my neighbour's cat Reg features at the end. He's here too. And he's lovely. And I'd love to breed from him. He probably is breeding. He's quite a rascal, that boy. He's a man of appetites, my neighbour's cat Reg. We need to get on with this. So Elisa Allen says the Prince and Princess of Wales should know that shelters here and worldwide are overflowing with puppies desperate for a second chance at a loving home. The Prince and Princess of Wales shouldn't know anything, right? They are very knowledgeable people, Elisa Allen. Princess Catherine, notwithstanding her extraordinary and heroic battle against cancer, is very knowledgeable about nature and the environment, and about how important nature is for our physical and mental health, about how important it is to get kids out in nature. She's big on education. I'll do a special deep dive on Catherine's causes shortly, because it's quite amazing what this young woman does. So don't you tell me, Elisa Allen, whose bite is worse than her bark, that Princess of Wales, Princess Catherine, should know anything. What you should do is have some respect. So that's that dealt with. Then she says that the prince should know that shelter... Prince William is one of the most responsible public figures in the world. This is a guy who's got the Earthshot Prize. He's worried about what we're doing to the environment, and I agree with him. And Earthshot is excellent. The other thing that he's very big on is homelessness in the UK. He wants to eliminate homelessness. And then so much other stuff, the veterans and inequality, poverty, you name it. This guy's got a finger in every pie. So do not characterize the Prince and Princess of Wales as being staggeringly out of touch. How dare you? Staggeringly out. They are staggeringly in touch. If you're going to lecture anyone, Elisa Allen, who I'm going to take down, and I'm going to take you down to Chinatown, okay, then why don't you go and see the Duke and Duchess of Double Standards over in Montecito, California. Montecito! Because I think you'll find that if you're looking for any royal figures, which they barely are these days, but on paper, if you're looking for any royal figures who are staggeringly out of touch, it's the Markles of Montecito, okay, living in their 16-bathroom mansion and pretending that they want privacy whilst doing a world privacy tour with books, documentaries, and podcasts. So the Prince and Princess of Wales, in my view, are faultless. There is no case to answer here, and I'm disgusted by this language. She goes on, if William is going to lead... Wait a minute. Are you calling the future king of the United Kingdom William? Are you on first name terms? What is he Big Willie? The Willmeister? The Wilster? The Big W? I mean, can you please control yourself? Can you please get a hold of yourself, as the Americans say? Could you get a hold of yourself? I I love the way Americans structure their language. Can you get a hold of yourself? Elisa Allen, can you get a hold of yourself? Can you please get a hold of yourself? Get a hold of yourself, man. Can't you see what you're doing? Get a hold of yourself. Get a hold of yourself, man. Finally, I'm navigating towards an American accent very slowly in the way that the great, who's that amazing guy, that the singer and dancer that was in Mary Poppins, legendary actor in his 90s now, Dick Van Dyke. Hello, Mary Poppins, with his amazing, hilarious Cockney accent. What a legend. Still going, by the way. That guy's still going strong in his 90s. He can still dance. He can still sing. Dick Van Dyke, a total hero. Whereas Elisa Allen is she's more Dick than Dyke. Although I don't know about her private life. Can you please, it's a family show. Can you, listen, sometimes, I don't want to be unkind, okay, because we're building a media revolution. This is a community, right? We are family, you and I. But sometimes you chip in with remarks and it slows me down and it sometimes gets me into tricky territory. And it's not my fault, it's you. You're lovely. You are the Mark Dolan Show community. You're lovely, but you take me down rabbit holes and sometimes you get me in trouble. Sometimes you take me down to Chinatown and I feel an innocent bystander in all of this. I don't know if she's more Dick than Van Dyke. Who knows? Good luck to the woman with her lifestyle. She'd probably, she loves the animals, right? She's probably got a miniature schnauzer, I would have thought. That's what I've heard. Family show, please, can you behave? So, if William is going to, how dare you say if the prince, not if William. That is dismissive. It's obnoxious. We don't have, in the old days, which was so good, when you had treachery and when you had, what's that big thing when you do an act against the state? It's a special law, isn't it? I think it might be treachery. Is it larceny? Who knows what it is, but it's a bad thing where you do something that hurts the state. Let me know in the comments. But I'd call it an act of treachery against your own country to call the Prince of Wales William in a public statement. By all means, hold these figures to account. Don't get me wrong. I hold all of the royals to account. They're not better than us. They're not cleverer than us. They are very privileged. They are the elite. And sometimes they get it wrong. But please be respectful of the institution. Because that's how it is in America, for example, and Canada and Australia, New Zealand, right? South Africa, all these countries, right? You have the structure of the state and you have your president and you have your prime minister and you can like or not like that person, but you should always speak about them and to them with respect. It's like at the moment, the president of the United States, okay? Sometimes the person that's in the White House is popular, sometimes not. Normally it's a 50-50. Half the country loves them, half the country doesn't like them. But you have the office of the President of the United States. And that is something, I don't care who's in. I don't care who inhabits the Oval Office. It is the office of that position. Okay, the office of President that you respect. And it's the office of the royal family, Elisa Allen, whose bite is worth, and I'm still struggling. This is like one of those Lenovo that you buy in the supermarket for $300. Some of you watching, you're like an M5 Mac. I can't keep up with you. And your brilliant comments. By the way, so I've got massive, massive big stories for you. But can I just pick up on, because I read the comments every day. They're incredible. And I got a great comment the other day, which is I said that Meghan shouldn't be calling herself HRH. That technically she is HRH, but she promised not to use the title. It was my understanding that she could use it for private correspondence and just not anything public in a public role, such as, letter to a friend. But I got a brilliant comment from one of you who's a top lawyer who said, no. She is not allowed to use HRH under any circumstances. So Meghan, put that in your pipe and smoke it. You're not HRH. I'll never call you HRH on this show. It's a Mark Dolan Show rule. We've got a few rules, haven't we? First of all, I don't refer to Lily as Lilibet because that's a stolen name. That is a stolen name, so I will call her Lily. And God bless her. I'm sure she's a really sweet little kid. but it's not her fault, okay, of who her parents are. But I won't be calling. We've got a few, we've got another rule. We don't call Catherine Kate. She's not Kate. There's no Kate. Not on my watch. I just won't have it. She is Princess Catherine. She's not Kate. How dare you? What are you, her best mate from school or something? I mean, it's a miracle that Elisa Allen is not referring to Catherine as Kate. Or Big Willie and Kate, why can't you show leadership? Now, don't get me wrong, right? This Elisa Allen lady, I got no doubt that she's a very decent person. I've got no doubt she does great work with PETA. I've got no doubt that PETA do good work. Okay, and then why does she do that job? She cares about animals. It's a great vocation. So more power to Elisa Allen for doing everything she does for the animals, right? So ultimately, if I were to meet Elisa Allen and we would sit down, maybe we have a beer together. I would like to have a great beer, maybe like the king of beers, which is Budweiser. We could have a Budweiser or two. And I would say, ultimately, you are friend, not foe, because you're out there protecting animals. That's great. But can you please have some respect for the British royal family? Yes, hold them to account. Yes, be unhappy with the breeding story. But do not, I repeat, do not refer to the future king of the United Kingdom as William. It takes a lot to shock me. And that shocked me right to my bones. What can you do? So, we need to crack on because this is massive. She then invokes King Charles and Queen Camilla. She says, this is like, you're actually threatening the future king of the United Kingdom. This is like threatening language now. If William is going to lead, he might well take a lesson from King Charles and Queen Camilla, who have chosen to adopt from a shelter rather than contribute to the problem. Now, this is William and Catherine, who have allowed a much-loved family dog to have a litter, right? That's not the same as going to a puppy farm and I was saying, I'll have 3 grey ones and 2 brown, please. And I won't take the one with the cross-eyed, the runt of the litter. By the way, if I went to a shelter, I would always go for the runt. I'm a massive fan of Elton John, who goes to the Battersea Dogs Home for his dogs. He's a great animal lover. And he's a very sweet man, Elton, in my opinion, and very big-hearted. And so actually, Elisa will be happy with Elton, with the Rocket Man. Rocket Man! And he went down to the Battersea Dogs, and he had to choose a dog. And he chose the saddest dog at the whole centre. He was looking around, and he saw a dog in the corner with the saddest face of all the dogs, right? And we know, if you're a dog lover and a cat lover, you know when you see sadness in an animal's eyes. It's palpable. They're so much like us. And you can see, you see a sad dog. Sounds sad dog. That's like an Elton John song. Sad dogs they say, sad dogs they say, sad dogs they say, so much, so turn them on. Okay, I do think sad songs, by the way, one of the underappreciated Elton John tunes. After the show, got some homework for you. Go and listen to the Dolly Parton version of D-I-V-O-R-C-E. And after you've done that, let me know in the comments if it's better or worse than Tammy's. And would you please have a listen to Sad Songs by Elton John and tell me that isn't an absolutely banging track. Sad songs they say. He's got this bit where it repeats, where it goes, sad songs they say, sad songs they say, sad songs they say, so much, so turn it on. I mean, the mastery of to take that lyric and decide magically that he's going to say the same lyric 3 times. That's not Bernie Taupin. It's Elton's decision to go sad songs they say 3 times. Sad songs they say, sad songs they say, sad songs they say, so much. So, I mean, it's a masterpiece. Anyway, so Elton has gone for a sad dog. Sad dogs, they say. He found the saddest dog at the shelter. And the reason why he said that, why he did it, he said that he wanted to find a dog that was as miserable as he felt at that time in his life. Because EJ was not in great shape at that time. And I'm sure you know about this, well-reported issues with loneliness and alcohol and drug misuse, right? And he went to hell and back, got himself clean. What a life, what a career, what a guy. But he goes and gets a dog that is sad as he is. And then he gets that dog. And of course, if Elton John gets you from a shelter, I mean, in terms of The dog lottery you've won, haven't you? You wind up over at Elton's place, his sprawling Windsor estate with land, staff to feed you, Elton to love you. It's a beautiful thing. Anyway, I thought it was a lovely, touching story. So I'm all about the shelters. And Camilla and Charles have done that, okay? They have a dog called Molly. Holy moly. Joined the family after the death of Camilla's terrier, Beth. So Camilla had a terrier called Beth. And then they get a dog called Molly from Battersea Dogs Home. Lovely, right? Camilla previously adopted Beth in 2011 and Bluebell in 2012. What a lovely name for a dog, Bluebell. All from Battersea. The Battersea Dogs Home is a famous dog shelter in the UK. She's a patron, right? No problem with that. It's a lovely thing. But can I just give you the backstory about this, which is quite simply that the Prince and Princess of Wales were originally given a dog called Lupo, a Cocker Spaniel, as a wedding gift by James Middleton, Catherine's brother. So Lupo passed in 2020, which is very sad. And the family later welcomed Orla, the mother of the new litter. Okay, so they've got a dog called Lupo. The dog passes. And the family later welcomed Orla, who's the mother of the new litter. So they're keeping that bloodline going with, it's a memory of the dog they lost. I mean, are animals not allowed to reproduce anymore? That is a cherished legacy of this much loved dog, Lupo, who was, there as part of, he was part of the celebration of their relationship. William and Catherine are happily married, and Lupo was like the glue in their courtship or their early marriage, because he was in the box seat, that dog, as they fell in love and forged married life together. So that's a massive loss, right? A couple's first dog is a big deal. So their family then welcome Orla, who's the mother of the new litter. This is not random. It's not going dog shopping at a breeding place, which I've got to say, I feel very strongly about that. I'm not a big fan of the breeding places, right? I mean, it's a free country. Do what you will. But I mentioned a story yesterday, which you very kindly enjoyed, about my dog Rusty, who was transported to a different location when I was a kid by car 3 or 4 miles away and made his way back home. No one knows how he did it. I think these dogs have some kind of internal GPS. And a few of you in the comments said you've had the same story with some of your dogs finding their way home, even though they were driven somewhere. I mean, that's supernatural, but that's dogs. They're very special. I will say that a couple of our dogs came from breeders and they had a lot of health problems. So I had a lovely dog called Callum, and he had a heart defect. He had a problem with the valve in his heart. We had another one that got cancer very early, and then we got another one with issues with the lower back. And the reason why is it's probably not that natural, is it? Breeding these animals, and they're bred to be more attractive and have long noses, or, you got the wrinkly ones, which get so wrinkled that they can't open their eyes. I think that's heartbreaking. For some reason, there are some people that want a dog that doesn't have a tail, or get the tail as small as possible. What are you doing? Why are you interfering with nature? So I will support the PETA, principle that this breeding stuff, breeding for money and for profit, is not ideal. And I agree with Elisa Allen on that one. Okay, common ground on that one. So I can tell you from my personal experience that our bred dogs growing up, beautiful, much loved, but short life expectancy, lots of health problems, not great. Because of course what you've got, it's the same with humans, isn't it? If you've got cousins and siblings reproducing with each other, you will have birth defects, and dogs are no different. And the healthiest dogs you'll ever find are mutts. A mutt is the healthiest dog you'll ever find, like Scooby-Doo. Are you familiar with Scooby-Doo? Are you aware of the work of Scooby-Doo? Ruby, yikes, let's get out of here, Scoobs. And Scooby-Doo, one of my heroes. And he was a mutt, wasn't he? And lived a long time. Great. I believe he's now in the Hollywood Hills in a condo. Just smokes a cigar every morning and looks at his royalty checks. Scooby-Doo's done well in life. He's got unlimited dog food and biscuits and treats, thanks to his career in Hollywood. Hollywood! The Mark Dolan Show is going to the United States. I've got big news for you. Tomorrow! This is not a drill. The Mark Dolan Show is going to the United States tomorrow, the United States of America. Cannot wait for that. And I will tell you, let me tell you that we're going to, so this is a change because I'll be in a different time zone, which means that our plan is to drop videos at, I better get this right, 6 p.m. on the East Coast of America, 6 p.m. in the evening. So if you're in America, from the day after tomorrow, the videos will arrive early evening, right, for you in the East Coast, 6 p.m. in America and 3 p.m. on the West Coast of the United States. So the videos are coming to the United States in the mid and late afternoon, depending on where you are in the United States for the next 3 weeks from America. And then what that means is that's actually early morning down under in Australia and New Zealand. So that's early morning. Lots of Australians and New Zealanders watch the show in the morning because it goes out in the middle of the night and they wake up to it, which is the greatest privilege of my life, to be talking to Australians and New Zealanders and people all over the world having their breakfast. That's an amazing, to start the day with the Mark Dolan Show. Honestly, we're not worthy, so thank you for that. But having your lunch, having your dinner, insomnia, we're here for everyone. And but then what it's confusing is it means the show will go out at 6 p.m. in New York, 3 p.m. in California, early morning in the Antipodes down under, and then strangely 11 p.m. in the UK, which is my home country, my mother of birth, this beautiful sceptred isle of ours. So what it oddly means is that in the UK, the video, because of the time zones, the video will drop quite late in the United Kingdom. And we got some British night owls. But 11 o'clock at night means that for some Brits watching, I guess it's going to be an early morning experience. And I wish, this time zone thing, if only we had one time around the world. If I was world president, I'd just make it 3 o'clock everywhere. But that's probably why it's good I'm not world president, because I don't fully understand how clocks work, do I? But there you go. So that's a big change. Make sure that you are participating in it. So that is the deal with PETA. And I will say they do good work, but please show some respect to the institution of the British royal family. Before we go, a quick word on Queen Elizabeth II, who famously had a lifelong love of Pembroke Welsh Corgis, which became one of her most recognisable royal trademarks. I've got to tell you about this because it's quite spectacular. Queen Elizabeth II owned more than 30 Corgis in her lifetime. 30! She was obsessed! She had a Corgi habit, is what she had. No wonder she was so self-disciplined. She would just have like a little small alcoholic drink. She was a workaholic. She rode horses. She drove her Range Rover well into old age. She led the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth. And she acquired corgis. She had a corgi habit. Have you got any animal habits? Is there a breed that you're particularly fixated on? I like all the dogs, really. I'm not that keen on the dogs which are built for destruction. It's not their fault. They're still cute souls, but some of them have got this lockjaw and they're more muscular than Mike Tyson. And that bothers me. But that's not their fault. But I shouldn't wish to buy one or even let my kids be near one because of what they can do. I will say that. I'm not demonizing these powerful breeds, but they scare me. They scare me because of what they can do. And I know that any dog can cause damage, absolutely. But you will agree that some of these dogs are capable. Some of these dogs have the strength of a man. Certainly this man. So the Queen, she owned more than 30 corgis during her lifetime. Many descended from her very first corgi, Susan, gifted to her in 1944. Can you believe that the Queen was gifted a corgi before the end of the Second World War? That's how much history this woman embodies. The corgis were often seen alongside the Queen at public events, private engagements, and in official royal portraits. In the eyes of the public and the press, the corgis came to symbolise the Queen's warmth, loyalty, and devotion, a stark contrast to her often stoic public image. It's true. It was the human side. I mean, she had to be stoic. But definitely the dogs demonstrated what a caring and soft soul Queen Elizabeth actually was. So her love affairs with corgis actually began in 1933, when her father, King George VI, then Duke of York, brought home a corgi named Dookie from a kennel in Surrey. So that's her first contact with a corgi. Soon after, another corgi named Jane joined the family. And then in 1944, for her 18th birthday, Princess Elizabeth, of course, at the time, before she was queen, was gifted a corgi puppy named Susan. This dog became the matriarch of nearly all of the Queen's future corgis, right? So the bloodline started with Susan and it went on for generations. Susan accompanied Elizabeth on her honeymoon in 1947. I mean, talk about a buzzkill. Poor old Prince Philip. It's the honeymoon. He's expecting the honeymoon to be very eventful, if you know what I mean. Meanwhile, his new wife is petting the corgi. He's like, please, Elizabeth, it's our honeymoon. Put the dogs down. Give the corgis a rest. Please, Elizabeth. Time for a little focus on hubby. There you go. The first outing of the Prince Philip voice. Please, Elizabeth. Pull yourself together, dear. Get a hold of yourself, as the Americans say. The Americans say that. It's get a hold of yourself. Get a hold of yourself, big guy. So the Corgi dynasty. Over the decades, Queen Elizabeth II bred dozens of corgis, creating a royal bloodline, okay? And PETA and Elisa What's-Her-Face is concerned about that. Well, when William and Catherine allow Orla, their much-loved descendant of Lupo, to have a bunch of babies, what they're actually doing is, you know, they're perpetuating a heritage, they're sharing a story, it's a special memory, and it's a family treasure, is what it is. If you've got, I mean, I would love to look at Reg the cat, who's coming in just a moment, my neighbour's cat. I would love, he's very lovable, he's a very special cat. I would stop at nothing to let him be the father of many litters, because if any cat has got 1% of his charm and personality, it'll be a lovely cat. So I wouldn't, yes, cat shelters, absolutely, but I'd let me know in the comments, should I try to breed? Should I breed Reg, my neighbour's cat? What do you think? Do you think I should encourage the owner to let him out on the loose on a Saturday night? You know, he gets into central London, couple of shots. I don't know what cats draw. A couple of shots of double cream. That gets him in the zone. That gives him a nice buzz, and he goes finding the ladies. I would quite happily officiate over Reg's romantic nuptials, is what I would say. So many of the Queen's corgis were direct descendants of Susan, continuing until the mid-2000s. Her dogs were given regal yet playful names, right? Wait for the names. Sugar, Heather, Emma, Linnet. Windsor Loyal Subject is the name of one of the dogs. One of the dogs was called Windsor Loyal Subject, demonstrating the incredible good humour, dry humour of the Queen. Windsor Loyal Subject. Noble, Monty, Holly, Willow, Vulcan, Candy, Sandy, Muick, and Fergus. The Queen also bred Dorgies, by the way, which is a Corgi Dachshund mix after one of her Corgis mated with Princess Margaret's Dachshund Pipkin. Well, that's Princess Margaret for you. She was a very exotic lady with much more of a colourful private life than Queen Elizabeth ever had. Queen Elizabeth was just with one man her whole life, and we know who that was. Elizabeth, please, get a hold of yourself, as the Americans say. Put the corgi down. Time to focus on the hubby. For goodness sakes, get a hold of yourself. Get a hold of yourself. You know, the posher you get, the less you open your mouth. See, normal people, working class people, middle class, lower middle class, tend to open their mouths. The posher you get, the mouth stops opening. And you just have this, just occasionally, because you must never see the teeth or the tongue. Because when you're that posh, you've got to almost be not human, you see. And so the posher you get, and then eventually you get so posh, there are no words at all, and it's just, Okay. The corgis were housed in the corgi room. They had a room. Folks, they had a room. I mean, that's what I would do. If I was a billionaire monarch, there would be a room for my dogs, and the corgis had a room. It's like Jay Leno's garage, right? 250 corgis just kettled in one room, eating fillet steak. The corgi room. They slept in raised wicker baskets. This is crazy detail, I think you'll agree. And were fed gourmet meals. Meals were prepared by a royal chef and included fresh rabbits, chicken and beef, often served with rice and finely chopped vegetables. No wonder they were so healthy. Each dog has its own stocking at Christmas and was given birthday presents by the Queen and palace staff. She was so sentimental. She was such a lovely lady. While not prone to sentimentality in public, the Queen reportedly referred to her corgis as her family and found great emotional comfort in their presence. Look what she went through. She had so many traumas. The Diana tragedy, and she had to be very stoic throughout all of that. All the divorces that her family presided over. The trouble with Harry and Meghan. The threat of that book Spare, which haunted poor Elizabeth in her final days. She went through a lot, and those corgis kept her going. She had to deal with some pretty tricky prime ministers. There were wars. There was a lot. Her first prime minister was Churchill, for goodness sakes. She must have been so nervous in front of this remarkable statesman. And so she had her corgis. She had Philip. Get a hold of yourself, dear. And she had the corgis. According to insiders, she spoke to them in a high-pitched voice, and gave them treats and even walked them herself, especially at Balmoral and Sandringham. The corgis were so closely linked to the Queen, they appeared in the 2012 Olympics opening ceremony video because they defined the Queen. There were corgis in The Crown, the Netflix series. Numerous royal portraits included paintings, official photos, and even postage stamps featuring the corgis. The corgis were Queen Elizabeth, and Queen Elizabeth was the corgis. But by the 2010s, the Queen stopped breeding corgis. Do you want to know why? Why did the Queen stop breeding corgis? Because it was reported that she did not want to leave any corgis behind after her passing. Because, of course, if you breed an animal, then you know that you've got to be around for 10, 15, 17, 18 years, right? It's a commitment. That's why you don't just go and buy a cat suddenly unless you're locked in for a good 20 years. It's a big contract. It's a big decision. So she got to 2015 and she'd made the decision, in fact, it was 2010, that she wouldn't want to leave any behind after her passing. Isn't that incredible? Her final two original bloodline corgis, Holly and Willow, died in 2016 and 2018, respectively. So she outlived those final dogs that were in her original bloodline. What a discreet and respectful way to do it. That she could say goodbye to that journey, to that heritage, before her own passing. It's just, I mean, it's poetic, isn't it? The woman was amazing. And unselfish as well. So the end of the Susan bloodline that began in 1944 concluded in 2018. What a story. It's been great to talk. I've got to tell you, I could talk to you for hours, but we must go. Don't forget the Mark Dolan Show coming from the United States. Hopefully, the next video, there'll be no video tomorrow because I'm traveling. That is Friday the 27th. There'll be no video. I'll be in the air. And then, hopefully, Saturday, you'll get your first video. VIDEO, the Mark Dolan Show, live from New York City. And in principle, if we get our ducks in a row, then it will be 6 p.m. New York time, East Coast, 3 p.m. California, and then it's going to be early morning down under, 11 p.m. UK, and other times globally. Folks, it's been great to chat. Loved your company. Do join me for the US journey. It's going to be, can I just warn you, it's going to be tricky because I'm out and about. I'm working with technology. You know, sometimes it won't upload. We're going to be in Yosemite National Park. Yosemite. Is there Wi-Fi there? Is there 5G? Maybe not. So I do think sometimes we won't always hit the timings. And I think some days we'll want to put a video out, but the technology will not allow us. So it's going to be, the plan is daily. I don't know if I can do videos every day, but I'll darn well try. Okay. But just, this is our journey. Let's make this a journey together and let's see how we manage it. And I can't wait. And I'll be heading to Montecito and hopefully meeting Harry and going for a beer with him, drinking in the king of beers, which is Budweiser. Before we go, I mentioned my neighbour's cat, Reg. If you're new to the show, there's a cat. He visits our home. He's not our cat. He doesn't belong to us. I think he visits 8, 9, 10 households, eats at every one of them, sleeps at every one of them, receives love at every one of them. And he is a very lovely chap. And this is a very brief hello from my neighbour's cat, Reg. Next time I see you, I'll be in America. May God bless you. Bye for now. He's back. A quick hello from Reg and myself in the garden. Reg loves this garden because there are lots of mice around. insects, birds, and I will tell you that Reg, a bit like Meghan Markle, is very good at getting what he wants. He's got the killer instinct. He is, I've got to say, the alpha cat.